video games on a level which is overtaking movies now. So I'm like, yes, and I'm talking to my sister and my mom like, look at that, I play video games.
See,
See,
I wasn't wasting my time.
exactly, I was not wasting my time. Hello, what's up, everybody? Welcome on in once again to Behind the Voice, and I'm joined in here by David Menkin, who has played actually so many characters in the video game, but latest and recently he has played Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. He has played a Breach in Valorant, which is very popular here, and so many other characters, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, also Battlefield games, and so many other games. So thank you so much for taking the time and joining me.
My pleasure.
Uh,
Absolute pleasure.
that's awesome. Do you actually like? I know you've done so many games. Like I was taking a look at all the games that you've done. You've done so many incredible games. Like what is it that you want to be a part of the video game? What is it like thing inside your head? Like I want to be a part of all these video games.
I think that, well, I'm an actor first and foremost.
Hmm.
And when I first started working, I had a chance to do voiceovers. So I started working for a TV station, talking in between programs, doing promos for them. And I won't lie, I was terrible at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
I sucked. And thankfully they didn't fire me. But I refused to suck.
Okay.
And I wanted to learn how to be a good voiceover artist and see how it intersected with my work as an actor, because that was my original passion, and that's sort of where I found the key to everything. So this was before you could go and do webinars
Mm.
and you could probably go and do some master classes, but they weren't that popular back then.
Yeah.
So I had to figure it all out by myself. So I listened to talented people on TV, on radio, and bit by bit, I started figuring out what worked for me and how it worked. And then I had a chance to start doing some animation, and then my first real game was I was helping somebody with casting, and she said, "Do you know what? Just go in there and audition for it anyway." And I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Okay, okay." And I was cast as Preston Marlowe in Battlefield: Bad Company,
I
uh,
see.
which a lot of your audience probably be like, "What? What?" Trust me, it changed the game. It's one of the most amazing. It's like it brought humor into the
Mm.
war game scenario.
Yeah.
It showed how you can actually continue the story while still doing gameplay. Um, I worked with some geniuses at Dice and EA on that, and I fell in love. Absolutely fell in love. So that's my really long answer to your short question. And because of that, I had a chance to start working as a game actor early, and then really pushing my agents to put me up for it, because it it wasn't really a popular side of things.
Mm. Yeah,
Now it's overtaken film, TV, and music combined. So
for sure.
I mean, yeah. So I call myself, I was ahead of the game. Now I'm not anymore.
Hey, that's not, you have been such a part of such great games, and to start off with Battlefield, Bad Company 2, that's like even now considered to be like one of the best Battlefield games out there. So like it's
Absolutely.
it's insane, and like to be a part of all these games now, even now, like it's so cool that you get to do this. So I think it's like a big massive win anyway. And as I
Yeah.
said, like people have like now jumping into voice acting a little bit more, and now into video games. It has gone so much. It is insane, and I love it that video games are in a level which is overtaking movies now. So I'm like, yes, and I'm talking to my sister and my mom like, look at that, I play video games.
See,
See,
I wasn't wasting my time.
exactly, I was not wasting my time. I love that. So you got to play Luke Skywalker in the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga.
Yep.
How did that happen? How that you landed that?
Well, I was pushy. Um, I was not asked to audition for this game. And if you know this industry, you'll know that everything is kept secret.
Mm,
They don't like to let you know anything about it.
yeah.
So this game had a code name that I'm still not allowed to use. And my friend said to me, "Hey, are you up for meh?" And I was like, "No, what's that?" And he just started going, and
Oh.
I went, what? 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 And he went, yeah, yeah, they're looking for Luke Skywalker. And they asked me to come in, and I was like, well, why wasn't I asked to come in? What? So I have a good relationship with this audio studio, and I spoke to my agent and I said, I've never done this before, but you need to tell them that they've made a mistake. And she said, are you sure I'm going to use those words? And I went, and she said, and I went, yep, yep. And we got a reply, and they said, prove it. So they
Ooh.
brought me in, and they got me to do some iconic lines, and then a few weeks later, I was told that LucasArts had approved me, which
So cool.
is just nuts. And yeah, and yeah, it was one of the most surreal, most amazing things. I still can't believe that they like allowed me to go in and prove it, because as far as they were concerned, they were like, no, he's not right for that. Well, well, I
Well,
guess I was.
now you can be like, well, duh, of course I was.
Of course I was.
You
Yeah.
definitely didn't made a mistake, you see?
See,
But
both of us can say, hey, mom, I do have friends. They're online, but I do have real friends, and
I do
this is
have,
my job.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
and
both proved.
yeah, and my mom's like, I know who Luke Skywalker is. So
That's so
my
cool.
dad, my dad used to take me to see Star Wars. So yeah,
That's
um,
awesome. That's amazing. I
yeah.
was like, it's such a iconic character. Like, I cannot imagine that you must be feeling like amount of pressure to play, Luke. Of like, it's insane. I don't know. How did you
The
manage all
pressure
that?
was the pressure was huge. The pressure was absolutely huge, and thankfully, I had some really good people in the room with me who would help guide me with my performance. Um, and I recorded at a place called Side, and they're both in London and in LA, and I think they're about to open in Paris as well.
Oh wow.
And they're one of the biggest sort of audio casting, directing, and post production studios on behalf of the games industry. And as soon as I was sort of accepted, they, of course, made sure that I didn't suck. So we had somebody from TT Games who made the game. We had an amazing sound director called Jason Bowen, and we had our sound engineer as well. And everybody in that room was a fan of Star Wars.
Definitely.
So everybody sort of agreed, we're not gonna. I don't know if I can swear on this.
Oh,
We
for
can't
sure, go
f it
for
up.
it.
Okay, we can't fuck it up. So let's not fuck it up.
Uh-huh.
And so everybody worked together on it. And of course, what we had to do was slightly, the real moments of peril, or when Luke gets his hand chopped off and stuff
Yeah.
like that. We couldn't go as far as they
Mhm.
did in the movie because of the fact that this is a Lego game.
Yeah.
So we had to modify things slightly, and we figured out how to do it.
Mhm.
Um, and then yeah, and everything had to go back to LucasArts, and they had to approve everything we did.
Yeah.
So by the time the trailer came out, I felt okay about it. But then I realized that the Star Wars fandom is insane.
It is. Oh my.
So I was really glad about the fact that to know that my name wasn't mentioned until the game came out.
Mm.
And I was sitting there sweating, worrying that they were going to be like, well, the game, the voice acting was great, except for who the hell did they choose to? And that didn't happen, thankfully.
Of
And then
course.
when it was made official, the love that I received from the community was amazing. And then another podcast, just after they interviewed me, they tweeted Mark Hamill about me, and he replied and said, "Welcome, David Menkin." And all I could do was sit and sweat for about 15 minutes. That's all I did. I just sat
Shoot.
still and was just sweating. Um, but it was amazing, and I'm so lucky. to have been a part of something that I've grown up with, and that has had a huge influence on me as a performer, as a fan, and now I get to say that I'm part of it. It's
Oh,
amazing.
it's so cool. It's so cool first to get to be a part of it. People loving it. I know a lot of people loved it. I played it. It was such a funny game, and I love all these scenes, and then it turns into a funny moment. I'm like, you can't. It's just like obviously,
Yeah,
like it's so
and if
it's
you don't and if you don't like me, you can switch on mumble mode. So everybody wins.
everybody wins, I guess. Yes, but
Yeah,
I enjoyed it so much. A lot of people who got to play it enjoyed, since it's the whole Skywalker saga. They enjoyed every single part of it, and I'm like, this is so cool. I love it, and it's so amazing that you get to, Mark Hamill get to, talk about you and all that stuff. So it's so cool. Did you ever get
yeah.
to like ever got a moment to meet any of the Star Wars cast members from the movies?
No, I haven't. Let me think. If I've, I mean, I have colleagues now who are in the newer movies.
Uh-huh.
So, a, a colleague of mine, he is the one that takes the message at the end of Rogue One, and
Oh, I see.
yes, and he then got to play himself in the game,
Oh,
which was
oh,
amazing.
that's so cool.
So yeah, so like I know people, that are part of the canon now,
Mhm.
but unfortunately, I've not had the chance to meet any of the big guns yet. But hopefully, at a Comic Con,
Oh
or
yeah.
well, at a con of any kind, really, in the future, I'll be able to go up and sweat again. So.
Oh man, that feeling would be so crazy. Like just sweating. I guess if I meet even if I meet you in person, I would probably be sweating because I'm very bad at meeting people. I would be like, hi, just that.
Well, you're disproving that by how you're talking to me now. So
Well,
just imagine that there's a screen between us.
yeah, for an
When
yeah,
when we meet in public, you'll just hand me a phone and be like, I'm just gonna go over to the corner,
yeah, and then
talk to you
FaceTime.
through that. Yeah, exactly.
But you mentioned like you watched Star Wars so much. So, which Star Wars is your favorite Star Wars?
This is the thing. This is it's it Things have changed for me
Hmm.
because of being part of it. And now, what can you say? Do you say one, or do you say, what number do you give it? So it used to be A New Hope
Yeah,
that was my favorite, but I think that Return of the Jedi has a place in my heart.
I understand.
Um, yeah, I mean, I got to say the original trilogy, um, as a piece, because I think that, um, I'll give you a bit of an idea. They have something here in the UK where I'm based.
Hmm.
They have something called Secret Cinema, where you go and you have an interactive experience and then you go and watch the movie.
Oh,
And what they did was they took you to Tatooine. And you were taken on a spaceship, and then you were inside this building, but it was Tatooine, and you had like a mission to do, and so on. And
wow.
this was so you played. Yeah, it was you played the end of I think Empire Strikes. I actually I don't remember, because the overriding experience was I came out of the spaceship, and R2D2 in
Oh,
full size came up to me and bleep bloop bleeped at me, and I started crying,
oh man.
and my friends had to take me away because because I was making R2D2 uncomfortable. So
Oh
so the
man.
original trilogy has a very, very special place in my heart. Um but I will say at the same time that I think that Mandalorian, and I
Hmm.
also think Andor are, just they are filling a space in my heart that I didn't know needed filling,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah.
So yeah, and it's it's amazing that we get to keep on having these gifts. Like our entire lives are now filled with
Star Wars.
Star Wars content.
Yeah, it's just
So and I got to be part of it. So I'm so happy.
that's so cool. Yeah, we have Star Wars left, right, and center. It's like just coming up, keep on coming. We have games coming. We have more series coming. We have hopefully movies coming. But like it's just
Yeah.
crazy. So much happening with Star Wars, and it's so amazing that you got to be there as well. Did you ever get to play the game yourself?
Yeah. They of course they've let me play it, and I immediately became too obsessed with picking up the blue coins.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
yeah, because that's all I do. I'm like, oh yeah, all right, oh yeah, and you sort of start forgetting about the storyline. But yeah, I played through, and of course I selfishly jumped to all of my own stuff.
Oh man.
So yeah, Warner Brothers games were very sweet, and they sent me Blue Milk Luke, which is a special.
Mhm.
Well, he's up there, tiny, tiny, tiny.
It's like-
Yeah, so I've been super lucky that
Hmm.
it's something that I can also go back to, and it's something that if I have young people coming and staying with me,
Yeah.
family members and stuff like that, I know that there's something that they will absolutely love, and that an adult will absolutely love as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's so awesome. Do you actually play like apart from this game? Did you actually play video games in general?
So I didn't back in the day
Mm.
because I was just wondering, like, when will I find the time?
Yeah.
And my nephews are very, very big gamers, and I've was introduced to that, and then I became a member of BAFTA, which is the voting, so for BAFTA games,
Yeah.
and there you have to vote, and I was like, I can't be a voting member and not be playing games.
Yeah.
So during lockdown, I got myself a PS5,
Oh wow.
and so I started playing. Like I had lots of friends in the industry who were like telling me what to start playing, and like just to learn how to do things. I started playing like Little Nightmares
Oh.
and stuff like that. And then my big first like massive game was Ghost of Tsushima,
Oh wow.
and it changed my life. I didn't know that my brain needed to do this.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was obsessed. I was worried about the choices that I'd made. I cried.
Yeah, it all happens.
I'm super emo, but yeah, and it all came out, and now I'm a gamer. So
Hell yes.
I just finished God of War Ragnarok. I am playing Plague Tale at the moment.
Awesome.
Um, I have started on Horizon. Oh gosh, what's the
For
sequel?
Forbidden West?
Forbidden West,
Yeah.
yes. So I've started on that. So my friends don't see me anymore. Yeah. So
That's the
I
kind
now
of
have to make
price.
yeah. So now I have to start making friends through my console. Yeah. And the next step is most likely to get a Steam Deck.
Oh
That's
wow.
what I'm hoping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a
So
few friends of mine who got Steam Deck and they're loving it.
I, I am all in now. So this is yeah.
So once
I'm not
you
messing around.
once you dive in, I think you can't get out. It's like that's at least what I believe. It's like once you dive into video games and once you play a few video games, it's like I want to play more. There's gotta be more because like it's just so much insane games out there. It's insane.
Yeah, and my gaming friends were like, I told you years ago." I was like, "Oh yeah, you're absolutely right."
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, you're not the only one because I cry in a lot of video games. And even when I discuss, like, talk to someone and I told, like, I got emotional and they're like, I didn't get that emotion. It was okay. It was like, it was an emotional scene, but it was fine. And I was like, how did you not?
No, it's because they made the wrong choices.
They, they make the wrong choices. Yeah. Or they're
Exactly.
just, they have a heart of a rock or whatever. I don't know. Like, what's wrong with me?
Yes, toxic masculinity. Let's
So,
just call it that. Let's just yeah, absolutely.
oh
Yeah,
man, what can I
yeah.
say? But now I know that you've done so many. But before this, the one game that I know that I got to play a little bit was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and you got to be a
I'm
part
so
of that.
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did you give me the axe? That's what I need to ask.
I did.
I,
I did.
and did you stop the boat and listen to all my stories? That's the other question. You can say no.
I
It's fine.
actually did not. No, I just
Nope.
gave the axe and I was like, that's it.
Yes.
That was like a
So
big moment there. I feel like a lot of people were kind of asking like, did you give him the axe or no? Like, I yes. Some people didn't, and some people were saying like, why did you? I'm like, I did. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, like it's such an interesting scene, I would say.
do you know that there's a subreddit called Fuck Dag?
I did not know that. I actually did not
Yes,
know that. Oh my god.
there is. There is. And I let them know. Because someone let me know about it, and I posted a tweet about it. I was like, "Wow, yeah, I guess I made an impact." So now they know that I exist, and I did. I posted once on their page because I did a charity day for to collect money for Ukraine
Hmm.
called In the Game for Ukraine. It was lots of people that worked on different games, and we came back and recreated our characters. And I went, so I went on and I was like, "Hey, please watch the live stream for this, and fuck Dag for charity." So and yeah, so I feel that my job there is like very much like yeah,
Perfect.
I did a good job, and of course that was all done during lockdown.
Hmm.
So I didn't have my I have a home studio now, which is great. I love it. But at the time, I had to, with the help of, um, thank God for them, engineers and voice directors who helped me um, get the equipment together, how to sound isolate, how to create a dead space, so that they could apply all of the different effects to the voices, so that we could sound like where we were. I did all of it underneath a blanket during lockdown,
It's
and
effective.
even yep, and then when I finished that, I realized that I was like, if I am if I'm going to be doing more of this, who knows what's going to happen?
Hmm.
I'm going to have to invest in a home studio. So I got one. But yeah, it was great. I just got to boast. I just got to be someone who just told wild stories, and and who then became paranoid.
Hmm.
We all have that friend.
We did.
Everybody has that friend.
Yep.
Hopefully we don't have to, fight that friend to the death
Yeah.
and then consider giving them an axe so that they can go to Valhalla. But sorry, spoiler alert to
Yeah.
all of your. Please put a spoiler alert in front of this, just in
Definitely.
case they haven't played the game. But you know what? You're a little bit late.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
too late.
So yeah,
What are you doing?
but exactly. Come on. But yeah, he was a really fun character to play. So and the thing is that I sound like this, but I am half Norwegian, half American. So
Hmm.
I was born in Norway. My mom made sure that even though we traveled around the world, that Norwegian was I was just as good at speaking Norwegian as I was English,
Hmm.
and that has served me very, very well. And so I can also sound like this if you need me to. That
That's
is my other voice.
I was wondering like how did you get that voice, and now I know like it's cool that you get like yeah, you have different accents and then you can always switch back to like
Yeah,
I have like a little bit of like the Indian accent that people say. I don't know what that is, but like to sound that way, I guess, and to sound me, it's very hard to differentiate mine and the Indian language that people say. But like it's I can probably talk like that. I don't know. But it's pretty cool that like you have different accents and you can switch back. But is it ever hard for you to like come up with voices if a character needs a different voice or a different you know way of saying like is it ever hard?
yeah. I mean, it used to be the case that they hired voice actors who could provide like 8 different voices
Mm.
from lots of places around the world. And they used to be white people in America and in the UK.
Yeah.
And I, to a certain extent, do that. But I always had sort of a very, very strong belief that if if I was asked to voice a character that is from a place that my culture oppressed,
Mm.
then I shouldn't be voicing that character. So
Makes
that's sort
sense.
of my thing. Um, so I have lost out on work because of it. And I'm not saying like I'm not patting myself on the back. I just think that it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I have been pressured. Earlier in my career, I was pressured to do stuff that I didn't feel comfortable with. But nowadays, I think that what we go for is authenticity.
Yeah.
And I think that that is something very important to gamers, to people watching film and watching TV. I think that if you don't really feel represented in some way, then um, that there's something wrong there. Now, of course, sometimes you end up doing stuff that is a little bit different to who you are. For example, a game that I think you play, Valorant.
Yeah. I have played
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So I was asked to audition for that game, and the character was Swedish.
Mhm.
Well, the thing is that I grew up with Swedes my entire life. They couldn't understand me when I spoke Norwegian, so I had to speak Swedish with them. So I learned how to speak Swedish
Wow.
as a kid, and because of that, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for this. They asked to see me, so I put myself up for it, and then of course there was some backlash when the game came out. They're like, he's Norwegian, he's not Swedish. And I was like, well, they saw Swedes, and I got the job.
Yeah.
So,
Get out, I guess. Like, you're not the one. I'm doing
so
it.
exactly. So, but we're from the same part of the world. We're
Yeah.
Scandinavian, and you know what? There's not enough representation of us Scandinavians out there. They should. I'm glad that they didn't hire somebody in the States to be like, "Hello, I am from Sweden," so they went for something, and I stand by it. And I think, and you know what? I think people like Breach the way he is.
They
So,
do. I gotta
so
say.
in a different universe, they got somebody Swedish, and everybody thinks he sucks. So.
Oh man. But no, it's so cool that you got to play in Assassin's Creed as Dag, and then here you had to voice as like a Swedish. You knew Swedish, which is so cool. Like it just whatever role that these roles that you got, that you just knew like, okay, I actually can give it a chance, which is pretty cool. And speaking of Valorant, in India especially, a lot of people are fans of Valorant. Like
Yeah.
tons of people are fans of Valorant, and there's like esports tournaments happening. People stream, people are creators and all that stuff. So I've seen, at least as far as I know, I've seen a lot of people play Breach. I've seen a lot of people play a variety of characters, but I've seen Breach from the first time it came out. A lot of people were playing Breach. Even now, people play Breach. So the rise of popularity all over the world, actually, is so insane. What do you like? What is it? What do you feel about like this insane popularity of Valorant?
It's amazing. I mean, yeah, the Valorant India community
Yeah.
just took off because I think it didn't really take off until they brought in dedicated servers for
Yes.
for India
Yeah.
for at least that part of the world. And because I think that considering what an amazing, like, a tech giant India is, I think gamers in India were really pissed off by lag in a
Yeah.
lot of games. And I think Riot have been really smart in the way that they've been looking at how to get people to play, and they've invested in the infrastructure around the world, and you can really tell. And then as a lovely gift to all these amazing players in India, you got an agent of your own,
Yeah.
and he's pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's all sexy with his green outfit and stuff.
Oh yes.
Just kicking some ass. So I think that is that's amazing, and I'm kind of blown away um, by the love that we get from the Valorant community. Is just absolutely amazing,
For sure.
and and it's just as soon as I have like a cameo, and I just keep on getting asked to yell at people, which is really fun. um and but I think that knowing that you are there um as part of people's lives when they're switching off from their day to day
Mhm,
is I mean, it's a huge honor for us because we're sort of part of the good stuff for a lot of people,
mhm.
and and that gives us a lot of responsibility. And I hope that I hope that we are deserving of that responsibility, if that makes sense.
Completely. No, you guys are. You guys like a lot of people have loved Valorant so much over the years, ever since it came out, and they continue to, you know, invest time in it. And there's something in it that people enjoy a lot. I would say I'm like not a multiplayer guy, so I don't play it as much. I did play it when the game came out, but I play so less of multiplayer. I'm so investing in single player. But I did know, and I have seen a lot of people have loved it. I've seen Breach. I've played a lot of other characters. I suck, of course, but you know, it's
Me too.
insane. But it's
Mhm.
insane to see the amount of love that people have. Like people create, do live streams. They have they're content creators who want to be content creators, and they pick Valorant and they go with it. And it's just awesome to see that. And as you said, like we got Indian servers here as well, so you know the game is growing, and I it's
Yeah.
amazing.
And I hope that at some point, we as the voices will come over to one of the cons in India. I
Oh
think
yeah,
it needs to happen soon now that things have opened up again, because we're
definitely.
sick of doing cons where we're on tiny little screens.
Yeah.
We want to actually meet. We want to meet everybody,
Hmm.
and so hopefully that's going to come up soon. We're pushing for that ourselves.
Oh
So.
wow, that would be great. If that happens, that would be like probably my only chance to meet you. So if that happens, that'd be great.
Hey, I've filmed in India once. I
Oh
filmed
really?
in Chandigarh.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, I had no idea.
yeah. So yeah, I did a movie called Zero Dark 30.
Oh, I've heard of it.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and we filmed in India for Pakistan.
Oh, I
So
see.
it was, yeah. So they had to come and change all the storefronts to look like it was Pakistan. Was not popular, but we had an amazing time. We were so well received by everybody, and Chandigarh is an amazing city. My
It
God,
is.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you've been, but it's just,
I've been a little bit, but yeah, I've seen
yeah.
enough.
And the architecture and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I've only seen Delhi Airport, so I've not a chance to. I've been to Delhi Airport a few times, but I haven't seen any of the rest of the country yet. So coming over for a con will give me the perfect opportunity to extend my trip a little bit
Yeah,
and
that's
see your amazing country. Where are you, by the way?
I am from a very different state. It's called Odisha. That's the state from
Okay,
I am from. It's like towards east. So if like I know the cons, if cons happens, it will be happening in maybe in Delhi or maybe in another state, maybe in Hyderabad or Bangalore, these
yeah,
places. So if that happens, I'll be like, I'm going. Like I gotta go. I gotta meet. So
yeah.
it's
Hey,
I want that
thank God
happening.
for the yeah. Well, it's there's lots of airplanes flying over India. I know that. I'm a big fan of flight radar as well, so
Oh,
I know everything that's going on. But yeah, I'm a massive geek. That's the other thing. So yeah, but yes, hoping to come to India very very soon.
that's awesome. That's so lovely. Well, you know, you did play. You mentioned like you're playing games right now, and you started playing games with PS5. So, what is like for now? What is like your kind of like your favorite game at this point? Is it still Ghost of Tsushima, or is it like something else?
Ghost of Tsushima is one that I think if I just need to um, switch off and kill bad guys, I will just go open world and Ghost of Tsushima and
Mhm.
just switch it on. And I mean, I'm way too powerful now, so it's just so easy.
Yeah.
But I just go and save people, and then go and because I mean, I think I'm 99% on that game. I can't find the other percent. It's driving me nuts. I've done all of Iki Island. Yeah. But that game is sort of the one that I use to switch off with. But another game that has sort of taken my heart is Journey. I don't know if you've
Oh,
played it.
yes, yes, I have. Yeah, it is an incredible game.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And I made sure I didn't read anything about it before I went in. And I was like, who are these other ones that look like me and stuff like that? And then you realize at the end who they are.
Yeah.
That's the closest I get to multiplayer, by the way. So, but yeah, absolutely amazing. And another game that I can come back to if I'm feeling frazzled or if I'm feeling a little bit antsy or anxious, then it's something that I can get lost in. And I think that is the point of games for me. It makes me switch my brain. It doesn't make me switch my brain off. It just sort of switches to a different frequency
Yeah,
almost.
yeah, that's right.
So
It happens like
yeah,
it's like I feel like for me at least, and like everybody who plays games, they're like kind of important in sometimes like to like play games so that they can switch the direction of the mind in a completely different way, and then they can enjoy
yeah,
whatever's happening there and worry about that side of the world and like
exactly.
just
But
experience it.
but I'll tell you a game that I don't play, and I have lots of friends who are in it. Elden Ring. Um, I
Hey,
got it. I
I am the
downloaded it.
same.
I have never been so close to rage quitting and throwing something out of my window as that game. I am it shows how much I suck, first of all. But secondly, it's like I don't I don't want to be that person. And that's why all of my friends, like a good friend of mine is Jane Perry, who
Oh.
plays Celine in Returnal.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm gonna support Jane. I'm gonna play Returnal. And my friends were like, absolutely not. You're not gonna play that game. That's not gonna happen. And I was like, what? They're like, just watch it on YouTube. Just watch it on YouTube if you want to learn more about it, because you're actually gonna break your console. Yeah. So definitely not.
Oh man.
Yes.
To be honest, like I was doing a charity stream last year about like video games and stuff, and there was like a goal of like if we reach this much, which we did reach, I would play Elden Ring, and we reached it, and I was like, oh
Mm.
gosh, why did I set that goal? And I'm like, I I still haven't bought the game yet, but I know that if I do that, it's not gonna be good. It's probably gonna be a bad investment for me. I will play an hour and I'll suck and I'll just not do it. So I'm just staying back for a little bit because I know those games like I can't. I just
No,
can't go for it. Yeah. Just
no.
no.
And I know people involved in making the game and stuff like that, and they know. They're like, I'm really sorry. I bet it's fantastic. But no. I bought it. I bought it.
There you go. You
So,
actually went with that
I gave
step.
them money. Yeah.
I supported the game, but I
I
can't play.
supported the game and I played for 45 minutes. Yeah.
I played your game too. Great game to the point I played it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think of playing
Yeah.
Returnal, but like I don't know. But it's great looking game. If I
It's yeah.
will I be able to play it? I don't think so. It's gonna be too
No.
hard.
No, I totally agree. Yeah.
Well, I know that there's one game that's coming out this year, and I know you can't talk much about it, but is there anything that you can say about Final Fantasy 16?
I'm in it. I've
Got
been
it.
announced. You see and you hear me in the trailer,
Yeah,
and I look fucking badass.
you
And
do.
yep. And I can tell you that we started work on this in 2018.
Wow.
We've worked our asses off. It is. Um, I mean, we just had the wrap party end of last year. The people involved in it, I think they're just like the people who made the game.
Mm.
I think they're like in dark corners, just in a fetal position. Actually, they probably still have to work. So what am I saying? They have worked so hard on this game. It looks and it sounds amazing. The manpower and the computing, the tech that's gone into this is crazy. Yeah, I just wish I could say more, but I'm just worried about lasers being put on my forehead and me saying things out of turn. You can tell I'm being careful,
Yeah.
but all of the information that I am allowed to give is on the website for the game.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. It's coming out this year. I just can't wait for what people think. Ben Starr, who plays the lead,
Yeah.
and I can't even say like how Barnabas is involved in this, but Ben, who plays the lead, is a massive Final Fantasy fan.
Yeah.
So he has been losing his mind since 2018 and not been able to talk about it. I didn't even know he was in the game with
Oh.
me until one day we were, and this was like towards the very, very end, and he just went, "Hello." I was walking from the studio and he was walking to the studio, and we just did raised eyebrows at each other, and we were like, and we weren't officially allowed to say it to each other until the rap party.
Oh my god.
And so I mean, huge geek once again. We stayed awake and watched the game awards,
Mm,
and that's when the announcement at
yeah.
the end the announcement happened on the blog, so we were able to talk about it. But yeah, they are. I mean, there's somebody who's, I think their only job is to watch our social media to make sure that we don't mess up.
Yeah.
But yeah, just brace yourselves. It's just going to be amazing. But I think I'm in so far 3 games, maybe 4 games that are coming out this year, and one of them is in it's already open. It's called Fangs,
Mm,
and it's turn by turn, I think,
yeah.
and I'm in it, and I play a big German guy. Talking about authenticity earlier, and I play German. Oops. But fine.
It's
They
fine.
they oppressed my people in World War II, so it's fine. It's okay. Now I'm gonna get so much hate from Germans. Oops. I
Oopsie.
love them. I have a lot of German friends. But yeah, I still get to play a German. And anyway, if you're blonde and you work in this industry, at some point you've played a Nazi. I'm sorry. It's just bound to happen.
Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. So, but he is not a Nazi. He's just German. But he is very loud and has big muscles and is very cool. And then I've got some indies coming out this year because that's been my sort of main focus. Is I want to make sure that the indies understand that we don't only work for the triple A's.
Mm,
We we will do our damnedest to work with indie studios and devs, because I think that that's where like the magic is happening. That's
true.
where it's and so I've made sure that my agents are very aware of the fact that if anything like that comes in, then we have to have a conversation, because of course they don't have very big budgets,
Mm,
but if the character is interesting, if the world that I'll be inhabiting is interesting, and if they're interesting and cool and passionate, then most likely I'm going to work for them.
mhm.
So yeah, I can't really say anything about them yet either,
Yeah.
because NDAs are really, really good these days. But watch this space. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Mm, okay. I can't guess. There's so much space games,
I
but
know, exactly. Yeah, but at least we know that there are enough games for people, depending on their interest area, out there.
yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, I'm doing some crazy stuff at the moment, so
I'm
you're
so
gonna love
excited.
it.
I'm so
Me too.
excited. So for all these
But
games, and
I'm such a tease though. I'm such a tease. I haven't given you a real answer in any way, shape, or form.
that's perfectly
But
fine because you can't,
unfortunately, I can't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you
So
had the chance, you could have, but like you can't. There's
yeah,
you can't do much about it anyway.
but I'm not one of those people that like goes onto my like Twitter and is like, "Ooh, just working on the most amazing thing. Can't tell you about it." I'm not one of those people. But when I'm asked about it, of
Hmm.
course I'm gonna ask. So
Yeah.
so yeah.
Definitely.
But
But to be honest, when
yeah,
the trailer was came out in Game Awards, and I saw after that when you guys started posting like, okay, I'm playing these characters, I was like, he's in it. He's in this game. Oh, he's also in this game. She's all. I'm like, what the hell is this game? Like, is everybody in this game? I was like so crazy because I
yeah,
been played Plague Tale Requiem, and the lead of Charlotte McBurney was also in this game. I'm like,
yeah,
so I was like
yes.
blown away. So crazy to
And I
see.
didn't know. So I'd met Charlotte a while ago, but it was only that day that I was able to go hi. So yeah, there's quite a few of us who, I mean, we take our job seriously, so
Hmm.
we don't talk about this stuff because it could get us in real trouble and it could
Yeah,
get the game in real trouble.
for sure.
So that's why I it's so nice that they have announced us so early in the process,
Hmm.
which is really unusual. Usually we just get announced on the day,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Sometimes yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I was announced as Luke Skywalker 4 days after the game was released. So this is really lovely. Yeah,
It's way before. Like almost
exactly.
like last year you got announced like, oh wow, this is new.
Yeah,
And I cannot talk
but
about it for so long. That's great.
exactly. But it's also the fact that you know when I um when I go into the studio and I work on the game might change after
Hmm.
I've been involved in it. But my lines stay the same.
Yep.
So it would be stupid of me to say, "Oh yeah, this is what my character does in the game," because well, that's not my job.
Hmm.
My job is to go in there and give a good performance and to make you usually to make you feel something. Um, Sometimes my fist in your character's face, or you're supposed to feel something, emotional.
Hmm.
Um, and that is my only job. My job is not to talk about how the game is made, what's going on in it. Um, and but what's great is that once people have start playing the games, then they start to talk about their affinity to the characters that they meet. And that's when my job starts as my interaction with fans on the gaming community.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want that to stop because I think that it's really important.
That's amazing. Yeah, that makes complete sense. That makes absolutely sense. Because you never know what's going to change, what's going to happen. Game
Yep.
development things change all the time, and we still have a lot of time since the game comes out. So there's a lot of changes, a lot of work needs to be done. So I'm excited for this. I didn't play a lot of Final Fantasy. I played Final Fantasy 15. That was like kind of my first Final Fantasy. So, but I didn't play the other ones because I didn't have a PlayStation. So I
Yeah.
I now have it, but I'm like there's so many to play. Which one to pick? But when I saw 16, I don't know what it was. The trailer probably got me hyped so much that I'm for some reason I'm like super excited like to play Final Fantasy game. Like usually that didn't happen, but this trailer made me so excited. I think it was just the end of the trailer, the first trailer that came out. The end of the trailer, there was something in it, or there's something in the whole thing, the music or characters, whatever it was, something just got in me. I'm like, I want to play it. It's so cool. Have you do you have
Yeah.
like kind of like a I don't know if you have played any of the Final Fantasy games or do you know about Final Fantasy at all?
No, I have a small part in 14 in
Yeah.
one of the DLCs. I play a character called Magnus who lost his wife and son in a mining accident, and and uh, but what I can tell you actually, this is a little bit of gossip.
Uh-huh.
Um, so um, the the DLC was released for 14,
Yeah.
and people started tweeting at me about it and saying that how sad, but what a great job you did, and so on, and that was nice. So I thought, okay, well, I feel fine. So I just took the screenshot of him and posted it. And what had happened, of course, was I had just been cast in 16. So everyone involved in the game thought that I broke my NDA because
Oh,
they didn't know that I was in 14 because
okay.
I because it's of course it's XIV
Hmm.
XVI. So they just saw this. So my agent calls me up and she went, David, what have you done? What have you done? And I was like, what? What? I've done what I'm allowed to do. And she's like, they think that you might have. And yeah.
Oh man,
So we had to have some chats about that. But
Jesus.
everything worked out in the end.
Glad that worked
But
out. Oh gosh.
yeah, yeah. So but I haven't played any of them. And but Ben Starr, he's promised that we're gonna have a gaming night. So
Oh wow.
we'll he told me that when he was drunk. So I need to double check that.
You
But
might have.
yeah, absolutely. I should have got it. I should have got him to write it down. Anyway, but yeah, and I think you're gonna love it.
I'm excited.
And yeah, and I was in a game called Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I played a really bad guy in that. And for some reason, um, the fans, because the fans of Xenoblade and the fans of Final Fantasy, there's a lot of intermixing there.
Hmm.
So people are very excited. So and I can't, yeah, once again, can't wait for you guys to play it.
Yeah, super excited for that. I'm just looking forward to try it out. I know a lot of people are very excited for Final Fantasy. There, some of my friends are like geeks and like they just Final Fantasy and like, of course I'm playing it. Like no
Yeah.
questions. Like so, I'm just excited that I got so much interested in it. So I can't wait. Uh, but like I know like there's one thing that I always ask to anybody who I've talked to. Like I think this is something that I struggle with, and I think a lot of people struggle with as well. Is like when you go into these roles, do you have feel like that level of anxiety coming up to you whenever you go into any of the shooting process, or all of the in your work? Do you have that anxiety or too much anxiety, or do you know how to deal with it, or you don't have that much?
What's interesting is that um, the games industry is so secretive
Mhm.
that a lot of times they don't really want to tell us very much about what we're doing. And also um, the scripts aren't usually completed until about the night before we go in to record.
Oh wow.
So the only thing that I get to do is have a look at what I'm doing. I mean, mocap is different because hopefully you'll get a couple of days to, or performance capture rather.
Hmm.
You'll have a few days to get it into your body. But when I go into the studio with a head cam, then it's all about being in the moment. So I learned very quickly that my nerves aren't useful.
Mm.
Like I'm there for a reason.
Yeah.
That's the thing for me. So, um, what's great for me is that I'm really good at sight reading, which is when I see something, I can say it out loud and I can find ways to make it flow
Oh.
easily.
Mhm.
And we have such amazing performance directors working with us that they can then help me tweak it. So I never feel like I have to go in and give them a perfect reading of what I'm saying, because that's not what I'm there to do.
Mhm.
I'm not there to give a perfect reading. I'm there to give a good performance. And it's not just me who's there to make this happen. There's a whole team that's there, and our job is to keep the story moving forward and to make people feel something.
Mhm.
And and that is such a privilege for me that I don't really feel nerves before going in. Um, And anyway, I know that at some point I'm going to be screaming and shouting and shredding my voice because somehow that's what I became popular for. But and tension is not good for that. So I just try to stay as chill as I can. I am, once again, super emo, so I have a lot of feelings about a lot of things, but usually when I go into a studio, it's excitement that I feel. And that's right next to being nervous.
Yeah,
So whenever I feel nervous, I'm like, I'm just excited.
that's
It
true.
kind of helps to make your brain think that. But yeah, I love my job. So I am I just want to go in there and do it. I just want to work. I want to play. As in I want to
Yeah,
eventually play the game, but what I mean is I want to go in there and play like we did when we were kids
yeah,
and become somebody completely different. And that's the amazing thing about working in games. I don't necessarily look like the characters that I'm portraying. When I work on film and TV, the character that I portray is usually the white guy with the big neck, you know?
I guess so.
But then I get to go in and I get to be this sexy guy, um, Barnabas in Final Fantasy. I get to be a huge Swedish bear of a man who has bionic arms. Um, the list goes on. I get to step outside of myself. And that, I mean, who wouldn't want to do that?
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
So,
lovely thing to do. I always get
yeah.
interested in it, but I'm like, I don't think so. I'm gonna be good at it. So I just like I'm like I'm fine with here, just making videos on YouTube, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Well, the thing is that also it's, passion isn't necessarily our calling,
Hmm.
but if you're passionate about something and you can make it align with what you're really good at, clearly what you're doing right now, then that's the perfect thing. Not everybody can do everything.
Yeah,
But but if we can bring the things that give us joy closer to what we're really really good at, then that's what makes your workday productive and positive, as far as I'm concerned.
that's that's very well said.
I say that with immense privilege. I know I'm so privileged. I know that I'm so super super lucky to do what I do. But I think that it works for me. It works for a lot of people that I know that don't necessarily work in this industry. So please excuse me if somebody's watching this and they're going, well, I wish that I had that opportunity. Um, but all I can say is look for the opportunity.
Yeah,
So
actually, that's well said. Look for the opportunity. The opportunity will not come to you, necessarily.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that I think that was amazing and well said. And with that, I would say thank you so much for coming and joining and talking about all of this and for all these games that you've been part of. I'm super excited for all the game that's coming up next. I'm super excited to see what's coming up in the future video games, and it was so good chatting to you and talking to you about all these games. So thank you so much.
My absolute pleasure and so lovely talking to you.
Well, I
Hope to
hope.
see you in person at some point soon.
Yes, that's I hope that happens because that would be great. I'll get to finally meet you. It would be the first time that I get to meet to someone that I actually got to talk to and who has played in video
Great.
games. That would be awesome.
And in the meantime, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at David Menkin. So anybody who's watching, follow me.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes I'm funny, sometimes I talk too much about work, but